The roar of the crowd hit me like a linebacker as I shoved through the sea of tailgates, my heart pounding harder than the bass from some frat boy's pickup truck. That's when I saw it. My dad, the unbreakable coach Harlan Reeves, pressed against the chain-link fence behind the visitors' bleachers, his calloused hands cupping another man's face in a kiss that shattered 40 years of my world's foundation. "I can't keep pretending, Tom," he whispered, voice cracking like thunder in the humid Georgia night. Words I wasn't meant to hear but would echo in my skull forever. I froze there, program crumpled in my fist, the scoreboard's glow painting everything in electric blue. Our high school Falcons up by 7 in the fourth quarter against our rivals. The whole town of Millwood buzzing like a hive on steroids. Dad had built his life on this field. 40 seasons coaching football. 25 years married to Mom with anniversary balloons still taped to the fridge back home. And me, Alex, their only son. The kid who'd inherited his broad shoulders and her quiet smile. But in that stolen moment, lips locked with assistant coach Tom Ellis, his best friend since college, the guy who'd been at every barbecue and holiday toast. I realized the playbook I'd lived by was a lie. My legs carried me backward into the shadows of the equipment shed before they could spot me. Breath ragged, the metallic tang of fear mixing with the hot dog grease in the air. How long? I thought, mind reeling. How many games had this been the halftime show? The whistle blew for the 2-minute warning, and I forced myself to blend into the rush back to the stands. But my eyes kept darting to Dad as he straightened his whistle, clapped Tom on the back like nothing, and jogged out for the final drive. That night, as our Falcons clinched the win and the town erupted in cheers, I clapped along on autopilot, the confetti tasting like ash in my mouth. We drove home in the old F-150, windows down, country radio crooning some Tim McGraw ballad about forever love that made my stomach twist. Mom was in the passenger seat, her head on Dad's shoulder, laughing about how he'd roared like a lion at that ref's bad call. "You were magnificent out there, Harlan," she said, squeezing his knee, her voice all honey and pride. Dad chuckled, that deep rumble I'd fallen asleep to as a kid. But his eyes in the rear view met mine for a split second. Did he know I'd seen? I looked away, out at the fireflies dancing over the peanut fields, pretending to scroll my phone. Millwood was the kind of small southern town where secrets fermented like moonshine in the backwoods. Sweet on the surface, but one wrong swig and you're blind. Dad had been the king here since he hung up his cleats at UGA in '85, turning boys into men on that turf while Mom taught 3rd grade and baked pecan pies for the church socials. Me? I was 22, fresh out of community college with a graphic design gig at the local print shop, still crashing in my childhood room with posters of the Falcons' glory years peeling at the edges. I'd always figured life was straightforward. Work hard, love deep, root for the home team. But that kiss? It was a fumble that sent the whole game into overtime. The next morning, sunlight sliced through the blinds like Judgment Day, and I lay there staring at the ceiling fan whirring lazy circles. Downstairs, the clatter of breakfast, Mom's cast-iron skillet sizzling bacon, Dad's coffee mug clinking against the saucer. Normal. Too normal. I dragged myself out of bed, splashed water on my face that did nothing to wash away the image burned into my retinas. Tom's fingers tangled in Dad's silver-streaked hair, the way their bodies fit like puzzle pieces long denied. Was this betrayal? Or just human? "Alex, honey, you look like you wrestled a gator last night," Mom teased as I slumped into my chair, forcing a grin. She slid a plate my way, eggs over easy, just how I liked him, with a side of her world-famous cornbread muffin. Dad was at the head of the table, newspaper folded open to the sports section, headline blaring, "Reeves Magic Seals Epic Rivalry Win." He glanced up, that trademark wink flashing. "Big game, son. You catch the end." My fork scraped the plate too loud. Yeah, intense. The word hung there, loaded like a shotgun shell. Tom's name wasn't mentioned, but I pictured him at his own kitchen table across town, maybe with his wife and 2 kids, replaying the same forbidden reel. How did they hide it? All those late strategy sessions at the field house, the way Dad's laugh always got a little brighter around Tom. I chalked it up to bromance, the kind football guys swear by. Now it felt like I'd been tackling shadows. After breakfast, I mumbled something about errands and bolted to my truck, tires kicking gravel as I aimed for the one place that always cleared my head. The old quarry lake on the edge of town. It was a hidden gem, ringed by red clay cliffs and pine thickets, where locals skinny dipped in summer and fished bass in the fall. I stripped to my boxers and cannonballed in, the cold shock yanking a gasp from my lungs. Underwater, it was quiet, no echoes, no accusations. But when I surfaced, gasping, the truth bobbed up with me. I'd known I was gay since sophomore year, that awkward fumbling with Jake Harlan. No relation to Dad, thank God. In the back of his Corolla after prom. We'd laughed it off as experimentation. But the ache lingered, a secret I buried under Falcon's gear and fake dates to appease the town gossips. Coming out? In Millwood? That was a one-way ticket to whispers and side-eyes, maybe worse. So I stayed in the closet, sketching logos for queer zines on my laptop at midnight, dreaming of Atlanta's neon pulse where a guy could hold hands without the world tilting off its axis. Paddling to the shallows, I hauled myself onto a flat rock, water dripping from my skin like unshed tears. Dad's secret cracked mine wide open. If the man who'd taught me to throw a spiral, strong, unyielding Coach Reeves, could harbor this, what did that make me? A hypocrite? Or just his son, wired the same? The sun climbed higher, baking the doubt into my bones, and by the time I dressed and headed back, resolve had hardened like the clay underfoot. I had to talk to him, not accuse, understand. That afternoon, the house smelled of lemon polish. Mom was on a cleaning binge, humming hymns as she dusted the mantel lined with our trophies. Dad's state rings, my art awards from high school. Your father's out back tinkering with the mower, she called, pecking my cheek. Fixing it up for the church picnic. I nodded, slipping through the screen door to the garage, where Dad was elbow-deep in grease, flannel shirt rolled to his biceps, humming along to the radio's classic rock. Hey, Pops! My voice came out steadier than I felt. He wiped his hands on a rag, that easy smile breaking through. Alex, thought you'd be sketching up a storm. What's on your mind, bud? Everything. Nothing. I leaned against the workbench, tools glinting like accusations. Last night, after the game, I saw you, with Tom. The rag stilled. Dad's face drained of color, then flushed red as the sun set. He turned away, busying himself with a wrench that didn't need turning. Seconds stretched like taffy, 5-10 before he sighed, heavy as a sack of feed. Son, I didn't want you to find out like this. Not you. Not me. The words stung, sharper than I'd meant. What about Mom? 40 years, Dad. The vows, the house, me, was it all just cover? He spun back, eyes fierce, the coach in him rising. Don't you dare, Alex. Your mother. God, I love her. More than air. She's my rock. My partner in this crazy life. His voice cracked, and he raked a hand through his hair, silver threads catching the light. But Tom, he's been my heart since we roomed together at Georgia. Back then, it was different, Reagan era, don't ask, don't tell before it was even a phrase. We tried to bury it, build something straight and true. I married your mom because she deserved the world, and I wanted to give it to her. But the wanting, it never died. I sank onto a stool, the weight of it all pressing down. Betrayal? Yeah, it twisted like a knife. But hearing the raw ache in his confession, it softened to something human. Flawed, desperate. Does she know? Dad shook his head. Slow. Tried once 20 years ago, after you were born. She cried, begged me to choose. I did for her, for us, swore it'd end. He met my gaze, pleading. It didn't. Tom and I, we grab moments, stolen, guilty ones. But it's not about throwing away what we have. It's surviving. Surviving. The word lodged in my throat. How many nights had I lain awake, scrolling Grindr in incognito mode, terrified of the same choice. I'm gay, Dad, I blurted, the admission bursting free like a Hail Mary pass. Have been forever. And seeing you terrified me, that this town, this life, it could swallow us whole. His eyes widened, then softened, a tear tracing his weathered cheek. He crossed the garage in 2 strides, pulling me into a bare hug that smelled of oil and Old Spice. The same embrace that had patched every scraped knee. Oh, Alex, my boy. We stood there, father and son, closets creaking open in the humid air. You're braver than me. Always have been. Mom called us for dinner then, her voice light as birdsong, oblivious. We broke apart, wiping faces, slipping back into roles like donning shoulder pads. But something had shifted. A truce, fragile as September grass. Over meatloaf and mashed potatoes, Dad's foot nudged mine under the table. A silent vow. We're in this huddle together. The days blurred into a tense normalcy. I catch Dad and Tom exchanging glances at practice, quick, loaded looks that now read like Morse code for longing. I started tagging along more, not to spy, but to guard the secret. My laptop open on the bleachers as I freelanced logos for Atlanta Pride events, inching toward my escape. Mom noticed my mood lift, chalked it to, finally finding your stride. If only. But Millwood's vines tangled tighter. 2 weeks post-game, the annual coaches' banquet loomed. A black tie affair at the VFW Hall, where boosters slapped backs and wives swapped recipes. Dad was getting the Lifetime Achievement nod, a crystal football etched with his wins. "Big night for your old man," he said one evening, practicing his speech in the living room, Mom beaming from the couch. I nodded, but dread coiled in my gut. Tom would be there, his wife Ellen on his arm. The four of them a picture-perfect quartet. How do you toast 40 years of half-truths without choking? The night arrived crisp and starry, the hall decked in Falcon's gold and crimson streamers. I showed up in my one suit, borrowed from Dad, feeling like an imposter. The room buzzed, old teammates clapping Dad's back, Mayor Hargrove pumping his hand. Mom floated in a floral sheath, radiant as ever, while Tom and Ellen arrived fashionably late, his smile tight as a drum. Dinner was roast beef and small talk, but tension hummed like power lines. Seated at the head table, Dad gripped his water glass white-knuckled, his knee brushing Tom's under the linen. I sat across, picking at my salad, eyes darting to the exit. Then Hargrove took the mic, launching into Dad's eulogy. Harlan Reeves, husband, father, legend. 40 years building winners, on and off the field. The applause thundered, but as Dad rose to speak, his eyes locked on Tom's. A beat too long, a spark too bright. Ellen noticed, her fork pausing midair. Whispers rippled, and in that suspended breath, the dam cracked. After the speeches, as dessert circulated, I slipped outside for air, the October chill nipping at my collar. Footsteps crunched gravel, Dad, loosening his tie. Needed a breather? Yeah. We leaned against the hall's brick wall, stars pricking the sky like distant stadium lights. You okay? He exhaled, long and low. Your mom's asking questions. About why I'm distant lately. He air-quoted, bitter. Tom too. Ellen's no fool. The words hung, heavy. What now? You gonna tell her? Dad stared at the horizon, where Millwood's water tower loomed like a sentinel. I have to. For all of us. His voice broke. But God, Alex. The fallout. The team, the town, it'll burn. I gripped his shoulder, the fabric warm under my palm. It'll hurt. But secrets? They're poison. I've lived it. We stood in silence. Father-son bond a lifeline in the dark. Inside, the band's swing tunes filtered out, but the real music was the shattering to come. Mom found us there, her heels clicking hesitant. Harlan? Alex? Everything all right? Dad turned, face etched with resolve. No, darlin'. It's not. And just like that, under the harvest moon, he began the confession that would rewrite our scoreboard. Mom's face crumpled like tissue paper in the rain as Dad's words spilled out, halting at first, then a torrent 40 years damned. I love you, Clara. Always have. But there's someone has been off and on. A man. Tom. The name landed like a penalty flag, whipping her gaze between us. I stood frozen, the wall at my back, wishing I could call a timeout. Tom. Her voice was a whisper, then a gasp. Your best friend? Our best friend. She clutched her clutch like a shield, pearls glinting under the security light. How long, Harlan? How many lies? Dad reached for her, but she flinched back, eyes wild. Since before Alex. Before us. I tried to stop, swore on the Bible after he was born. But it pulls, Clara. Like gravity. Tears tracked her rouge, smudging it black. Not because I don't love you, because I do. You're my home. She laughed, sharp and broken. Home? This is a prison. Turning on her heel, she stormed inside, the door banging like a gavel. Dad sagged against the bricks, head in hands. I wrecked it, son. All of it. Not wrecked, I said, voice steadier than my heart. Just exposed. I pulled him into a half-hug, awkward but fierce. Go after her. I'll handle the crowd. Inside, the banquet swirled on. Clueless laughter, clinking glasses. I spotted Tom by the bar, nursing a scotch, Ellen chattering with boosters. Our eyes met across the room. He paled, setting down his drink. Alex, what happened? Tell you later, I muttered, steering him toward the side door. Mom knows. Dad told her. His face drained, then flooded with anguish. Christ. I told him not to, not like this. He raked fingers through his buzz cut, the assistant coach's poise cracking. Ellen's gonna skin me alive. Deserved? I snapped, the betrayal's edge sharpening my tone. You two played us all like pawns. Tom winced but didn't deny it. It's not a game, kid. Your dad. He's my everything. But I love Ellen, the girls. This town's no place for. He trailed off, gesturing vaguely at the rainbow flags I'd seen in my dreams. Not here in Bible Belt red clay. Save it. I left him there, weaving through the throng to Mom, who was perched on a folding chair in the coat room, shoulders shaking. Mom! She looked up, mascara rivers on her cheeks. How could I not see, Alex? 40 years, birthdays, Christmases, your graduation. Blinded by love, I guess. Her hand found mine, cold but clinging. And you? Did you know? I nodded, throat tight. Saw it at the game. Confronted him yesterday. Her eyes searched mine, piecing it together. You're like him. Soft, not accusing. Gay, yeah. The word out loud again, liberating and terrifying. She pulled me close, her hug a harbor in the storm. My brave boy. We sat like that as the night wound down. Guests trickling out with Tupperware of leftovers, oblivious to the quake. Dad joined us eventually, face drawn. Clara, can we talk? At home. She stood, regal despite the ruin. Yes, but no more half-truths, Harlan. We're done with shadows. The drive back was a funeral procession. 3 in the cab, silence thick as fog. Millwood streets, lined with picket fences and porch swings, mocked us with their postcard perfection. At the house, Mom poured chamomile tea with shaking hands, and they retreated to the den, door ajar. I hovered in the kitchen, eavesdropping on fragments. I chose you every day, Dad pleading. Chose wrong, Mom Steele. Hours later, dawn creeping pink through the blinds, she emerged. Eyes puffy but clear. He's sleeping on the couch. We're figuring. She touched my arm. You need sleep too, honey. Tomorrow's Sunday, church, like always. Church. The irony burned. But we went, the 3 of us in our pew, Dad's hand finding Mom's midway through the sermon on forgiveness. Pastor Hale droned about prodigal sons. I stifled a laugh that bordered on sob. Afterward, potluck in the fellowship hall. Deviled eggs and Jell-O salads passed like peace offerings. Whispers started. Clara looks peaked. Harlan off his game? But no one knew the half. Monday brought the real gauntlet. Dad and Tom reconvened at the field house, practices resuming like clockwork. I drove by after work, parking in the lot to watch from afar, boys drilling plays, Dad's whistle piercing the air. Tom called signals, their rhythm unbroken, but the space between them yawned wider now, a chasm of consequence. That evening, Ellen cornered me at the Piggly Wiggly, cart loaded with hamburger helper. Alex Reeves, spill. What's eating Harlan and Tom? They're ghosts out there. I froze by the cereal aisle, frosted flakes mocking my crunch time. Family stuff. Rough weekend. She narrowed her eyes, sharp as a tack. Bull. I saw the looks at the banquet. If your daddy's messing. He's not messing. The defense rose automatic. It's complicated. Complicated gets kids hurt. Her voice dropped, venomous. My girls worship those men. Don't let it touch 'em. Guilt twisted, but so did anger. It's not about hurting anyone. It's about being real. She snorted, pushing off. Real? In this town? Good luck, kid. Her words haunted me through the week, a low hum under the surface calm. Mom and Dad tiptoed around each other. Polite dinners, separate beds. But glimmers emerged. A shared laugh over coffee, her hand lingering on his when passing the salt. Healing, maybe, or habit. For me, the dam broke differently. Late one night, scrolling job boards, I applied to an art collective in Savannah, Days Drive, Big City Buffer. Queer Youth Initiative. The listing read, seeking graphic designer for Pride campaigns. My portfolio attached with a click, heart racing. First step out. Dad noticed my glow the next morning. Something good. Job lead. Out of town. I braced for the flinch. He nodded, slow smile breaking. Proud of you, son. Go chase those dreams. Don't wait like I did. That vulnerability, it chipped away the pedestal. My dad wasn't a monolith. He was mud and miracles, same as me. But betrayal's shadow lingered. At Friday's scrimmage, I arrived early, slipping into the stands. Tom was there, taping ankles, but when Dad approached with a clipboard, their exchange was clipped, professional frost. Midway through, a fumble sparked Dad's roar. Ellis, what the hell? Pick it up. Tom's jaw clenched, helmet snapping back on. Halftime, I found Dad chugging Gatorade by the cooler. Rough out there. He spat. Yeah, Tom's off. Ellen laid into him last night. Thinks I'm the devil. You are, kinda. Teasing to lighten. He barked a laugh, then sobered. We ended it. For good. Told him this morning. The words hit like a sack. Dad. Right thing. Clara's fighting for us, counseling, the works. Can't poison that. But his eyes, red-rimmed, betrayed the rip. I clapped his back. You'll make it. Both ways. The scrimmage ended in a win, but victory tasted hollow. Driving home, radio preaching some talk show on traditional values, I switched to NPR. A segment on queer elders in the South. Voices like Dad's, weathered but wise, fueled me. Saturday, Mom dragged us to the farmer's market. Tomatoes ripe as summer promises. Fiddles tuning for the bluegrass stage. She linked arms with Dad, deliberate. We're okay, Harlan. Not perfect, but okay. He kissed her temple, public and tender. Love you, darling. My chest ached, relief, envy. That night, my email pinged. Savannah offer. Full-time, remote options, Pride Parade budget. I accepted, fingers flying. Telling them over pie, Mom teared up proud. Our boy's flying. Dad hugged me fierce. Make us proud, Alex. Be you. But as I packed boxes the next week, Ellen's threat echoed. Turns out, she'd whispered to boosters. Rumors of inappropriate conduct, swirling like chaff in the wind. By midweek, the school board called Dad in anonymous tip, they said. Integrity clause. The letter read. He faced it head-on, no denial, just truth. I'm gay, sirs. Married 40 years to a woman who deserves sainthood. No scandal, just a man owning his skin. The board squirmed, town divided. Old guard baying for blood. Younger parents rallying with love wins, yard signs I designed in secret. Tom testified loyal, unflinching. Coach Reeves built this program on heart. Don't tear it down. In the end, they kept him probation sensitivity training. Millwood bent, didn't break. My last night, bonfire in the backyard, Mom's esmores, Dad's stories of 85 championships. Tom showed, solo, Ellen's truce tentative. Proud of you, kid, he said, clinking bottles. As embers died, Dad pulled me aside. That game? Best and worst night. Freed us. I nodded, horizon calling. Yeah, changed everything. And as I drove north at dawn, rear view fading on the life I'd known, I felt it. Not loss, but launch. Human, messy, mine. Savannah hit like a color explosion after Millwood's monochrome. Cobblestone streets thrumming with streetcar bells, Forsyth Park's oaks dripping Spanish moss like nature's confetti, and everywhere, rainbows literal and not. My apartment was a shoebox above a drag bar on Bull Street. Rent eating but alive with bass thumps till 2 a.m. First week, I unpacked sketches of Dad's playbook doodles, Mom's quilt square, and a framed Falcons jersey. Number 22, my birth year. Home portable. The job? Dream fuel. Morning sketching logos for the collective's youth hotline. Bold fonts in electric blue. Taglines like, your story, unedited. Afternoons, coffee runs to the sentient bean, where baristas with sleeve tattoos and nose rings chatted queer-lit Rex evenings. Prowling River Street's haunts, where eyes met without apology. But the pullback lingered. Dad's texts, practice win, miss your cheers. Mom's calls, baked your peach cobbler, freeze half? Tom's occasional ping, board cleared Harlan. Oh you, guilt gnawed. Had my flight left them adrift? Weekend 1, I caved 4-hour haul south for the fall festival. Millwood Square bloomed with hay bales and kettle corn. Carousel horses bobbing under harvest lights. Mom spotted me first, waving from the pie booth, apron-dusted flour. Alex, you made it! Hug central, her scent of vanilla and earth grounding me. Dad ambled up, whistle around neck, judging the tractor pull. Look at you, city slicker. His grin wide, but eyes searched. You good? Getting there. We wandered, cotton candy sticking fingers. Fiddlers sawing Rocky Top. Town buzzed normal, kids on hayrides, Mayor Hargrove glad-handing, but undercurrents hummed. A few stairs my way. Reeves boy heard he's up Atlanta way, doing art. Code for queer, but softer than before. At the bonfire ring, boosters clustered around Dad, slapping backs. Harlan, that speech at the board? Gold. He waved it off, modest. Tom was there too, Ellen at his side, their daughters twirling sparklers. Our nods exchanged, truce holding. As night deepened, Mom pulled me to the sidelines. Things are steady. Counseling's helping. Your dad's trying, open, you know? Her smile tentative. And us? We're talking about everything. Even you. Me? Heat rose. Gay and proud. Wish you'd told sooner. She squeezed my hand. But I get it now. Hiding hurts everyone. Relief flooded, sweet as the cider. Love you, Mom. The festival's fireworks cracked overhead. Reds, golds, booms echoing Dad's old game cannons. Under the sparkle, I felt roots and wings, balanced. Back in Savannah, routine rooted. Met Luca at a collective mixer. Tall, with olive skin and a laugh like summer thunder. Graphic novelist from Charleston. Your Falcon's piece? Killer metaphor. Gridiron closets. We bonded over Thai takeout on my fire escape, sketching fever dreams till stars wheeled. But drama brewed distant. Mid-November, Dad's call crackled urgent. Sun trouble. Booster named Grady, old teammate, dug up photos. Me and Tom, college days. Fuzzy but damning. My blood iced. How? Grady's running for school board. Smells blood, wants Harlan out. Betrayal's sequel. Grady McAllister, Dad's 85 roommate. The guy who'd toasted his wedding, now weaponizing nostalgia. What now? Board meeting Monday. Might need you. Moral support. I drove down that night, rain lashing like accusations. Millwood sodden, fields mirroring my mood. Home felt smaller, walls whispering ghosts. Monday's meeting packed the gym. Folding chairs creaking under farmers and mamas. Air thick with fried chicken from the potluck prelude. Dad at the podium, suit crisp. Mom beside him, hand in his. Tom in the back, alone. Ellen boycotting. Too messy. Grady rose first, paunch straining his polo. Projector whirring to grainy slides. Two young men arm in arm at a kegger, grins wide, shirts off in the heat. Immoral conduct, folks. Can't have this leading our boys. Murmurs swelled. Shock. Disgust. Pastor Hale nodded solemn. My fists clenched. Luke texted, breathe, babe. But oxygen thinned. Dad took the mic, voice steady as a snap count. That's me and Tom, 1985. Brothers in arms, yes. Lovers? Back then it was survival, hidden, ashamed. I built this program on truth now. 40 years married to Clara. Father to Alex. No shame in who I love, past or present. Gasps rippled. Mom stood, chin high. Harlan's my husband. Flawed, faithful in his way. Judge the winds, not the whispers. Grady blustered. But the room shifted. Young Dad in Falcon's cap. Coach got us 3 titles. Past's past. A mom with rainbow pin. My boy's gay. Harlan's story? Gives hope. Votes tallied. Dad stayed. Grady slunk out, tail tucked. Hugs afterward. Tearful, triumphant. Tom clapped Dad's shoulder, brief but electric. We made it. Driving back, euphoria buzzed. Texted Luca. Town survived apocalypse. You free Friday. His reply. Always for you, quarterback. Thanksgiving loomed. First fractured. Mom hosted, turkey brining, pies cooling. I arrived with Luca, nerves jangling like loose change. This is my boyfriend. I announced in the foyer, casual as pie crust. Mom enveloped him. Call me Clara. Dad shook firm. Heard good things. Welcome. Tom and family too. Ellen's smile strained but present. Table groaned under fixings. Grace said over it all. Talk flowed, crops, crafts, collective tales. Luca charmed with Charleston ghost stories. Dad shared 85 fumbles. Under the cloth, his foot nudged mine, our code evolved. No betrayals aired. Just presence. Post-feast, menfolk on the porch, cigars puffing. Luca to me, your dad's cool. Dad to us, son, you light up. That's the win. Night's end, kisses goodbye. Luca's soft on the stoop. First public. Mom watched from the door, approving. December dusted Savannah in rare frost, but warmth built. Collective's holiday party. Eggnog, carols queerified, jingle bells with drag twists. Luca and I slow danced to Oh Holy Night. His breath warm on my neck. Love this life with you, he murmured. But Millwood called again, Christmas Eve Mass. Then Reeves tradition. Bonfire, carols, eggnog spiked. I went solo, Luca Charleston bound for family. Road slick, heart full. Church glowed candlelit. Pastor Hale's sermon on Emmanuel. God with us hitting different. Post-service, square's tree twinkled. Carolers belting silent night. Home, fire crackled. Mom's cocoa steamed. Dad pulled me to the den, gift in hand. A leather-bound sketchbook, monogrammed RR. For your stories, Alex. Real ones. Throat lumped. Thanks, Pops. Inside, a note. Proud of the man you're becoming. Love, Dad. Unwrapped with Mom's quilted stocking. Hand-sewn rainbow thread woven in. Subtle, she winked. For your new adventures. Bonfire later, neighbors trickled. Tom among them, solo again. We roasted marshmallows, stars sharp overhead. Talk turned deep. Dad to Tom, quiet. Miss our talks. Tom, me too. But this family first. Nods exchanged, bittersweet. No kiss in shadows. Just brotherhood, mended. As flames died, Dad slung an arm around me. Best Christmas yet. Changed for the better. I leaned in. Yeah, everything. New Year's, Savannah style, Luca and I on the riverfront. Fireworks blooming over the bridge. Resolutions whispered. His novel draft. Mine, come out louder, love fiercer. Spring unfurled. Azaleas rioting pink. My promotion to lead designer. Millwood visits monthly. Dad's team to playoffs. Mom's garden tour. Luca met the town. Picnic on the field. Boys cheering his fancy footwork in touch football. Betrayal's scar faded to story. Grady lost his bid. Town tales turning. Reeves? Man's got guts. Dad guest spoke at a teen center. Voice steady. Hiding steals joy. Live true. One June Eve, post-game barbecue at our place. Smoke curling, laughter loud. Tom toasted. To Harlan, coach, friend, hero. Dad pulled me aside, eyes misty. That night at the game, thought it'd end me. Instead, it began us. Human arc flawed. Full. As cicadas hummed, Luca's hand in mine, I knew. The play's not over. Just halftime, hearts open. Summer scorched Savannah like a skillet left on. Air thick with salt and sass. Porches fanning palmetto fronds against the blaze. Luca and I escaped weekends to Tybee Island. Sand hot underfoot. Waves crashing like applause for our lazy kisses. This is it, Alex, he'd say. tracing my jaw with sun-warmed fingers. The forever kind. I'd laugh, but inside, it rooted deep, like the live oaks weathering storms. Millwood simmered too, playoffs fever pitching the town into overdrive. Dad's Falcons undefeated, banners flapping from every lamppost. My visits synced with games, sketches traded for sideline seats, Mom's cooler of sweet tea my VIP pass. But under the cheers, fault lines lingered. Ellen and Tom separated quietly post-Thanksgiving, growing apart. The gossip mills ground. She kept the house, he the apartment over the hardware store. Dad mourned private counseling sessions doubling. One sweltering July Friday, I arrived for the quarterfinal against Brunswick. Stadium packed, humidity a blanket, brass band blaring Sweet Georgia Brown. I hugged Mom in the stands, her new sundress floral fierce, then jogged down to chat Dad pre-kickoff. He was pacing the turf, clipboard clutched like a talisman. Tom at his elbow diagramming plays. Their ease? Mended, but cautious shoulder bumps, not stolen glances. Alex, scout report. Dad grinned, sweat beading his brow. Brunswick's O-line's soft on the left. Blitz there. I fist-bumped Tom. Good to see you, man. You too, kid. Bringing that city luck. His wink easy, but eyes held a question for Dad unspoken. Game ignited, Falcons striking first. Dad's calls poetry in motion. Halftime, up 21-14. I slipped to the locker room for water. Voices echoed from the coach's nook. Dad's low rumble, Tom's tenor. Can't keep dancing around it, Harlan. Ellen's filing. The girls ask about you. Silence, then Dad. Blame me. I dragged you into this mess. No, we chose. Tom's voice cracked. But seeing you with Clara, strong, whole. It guts me. What if? A pause. Heavy. Footsteps, I ducked behind lockers, heart thumping. Peeking, I saw them. Inches apart, Dad's hand on Tom's arm, trembling. Not a kiss, but a tether raw, unresolved. They broke as the whistle blew, armor back on. Second half blurred. Fumble recovered. Touchdown danced. Final score, 35-28, Falcons to semis. Crowd stormed the field. I joined, lifting Dad on shoulders with the linemen. But Tom's eyes met mine over the dog pile, knowing, weary. Post-game cookout at the lake house. Burgers sizzling. Kids cannonballing off the dock. Luca driven down. Charming aunts with his drawl. Your family's gold, Alex. We swam till dusk. Fireflies winking like conspirators. Later, around the pit, beers cracked. Dad spun yarns of his playing days. Mom slow danced with Luca to portable tunes. Tom sat peripheral, nursing a solo cup. Ellen absent but her shadow long. I cornered him by the cooler. Heard about the filing. Sucks. He shrugged, lake reflecting stars in his eyes. Comes in waves. But freedom's funny. Scares as much as it saves. Talk to him. For real. Tom's gaze sharpened. You see it, huh? That pull. He sighed. Your mom's a saint, Alex. Deserves the sun. Harlan's giving it, finally. But you. Me? I'll coach. Write the girls' letters. Maybe find my own square one. His smile ghosted. Thanks for not hating me. Couldn't. Your family. Handshake sealed it, brothers in the quiet war. August brought heat's crescendo, then break, state semis in Atlanta, neutral turf. I flew home early, Luca tagging for the big city detour. Pre-game brunch at the Colonnade, fried chicken heaven. Mom quizzed him on novels, Dad on football trivia. Luca aced both, earning winks. Dome thrummed electric, 35,000 strong. Falcons in white against Savannah's blue. I sat front row, sketches forgotten. Game tight. Tied at 17, fourth quarter ticking. Dad's timeout huddle, words lost, but fire visible. Tom signaled the audible, ball snapped. Spiral arced perfect. Touchdown 24-17. Eruption. On the Jumbotron, kiss cam panned. Mom and Dad, lips meeting sweet. Then Grady's booth, him and his date, puckered awkward. Laughter rippled. Cut to Tom solo. He blew a mock kiss to the lens, crowd whooping. Halftime of the post-game show? State champs bound. Back home, victory parade down Main, convertible crammed with helmets, confetti cannons. Dad waved from the lead truck, megaphone blaring, "One more!" That night, team banquet at the Armory, ribbons, rings, toasts. Dad's speech, "This game's about more than yards. It's heart. Facing downs, owning fumbles. Thanks to my crew, Clara, Alex, Tom. Y'all my MVPs." Applause thundered. Tom's nod across the dais, loaded. After, as plates cleared, Grady cornered Dad by the bar. Slurred, red-faced. "You think you're untouchable, Reeves? With your lifestyle?" Dad straightened, cool. "Grady, we were boys together. Let it go." "Boys?" Grady sneered, voice carrying. "More like." I stepped in, Luca at my back. "Back off, Grady. Night's over." He blinked, town eyes on us. "Reeves spawn. Heard you're batting for the other team." "Damn right." My voice steady, Luca's hand grounding. "And Dad's the best coach, gay or not." "Jealous." Murmurs shifted. A booster pulled Grady away. Dad clapped my shoulder. "My hero." Championship week blurred. Practices dawn to dusk. Town on tilt. Mom baked morale cookies. I designed the rally tees. Falcons fly free. Subtle wings in the feathers. Luca crashed practices, sketching caricatures for the program. Game night. Dome again. Sold out. National feed. Air buzzed prophecy. Kickoff. Brunswick aggressive. Falcons bending but not breaking. Second quarter. Interception. Dad's challenge flag flew. Replay vindicated. Crowd chanted Harlon. Harlon. Halftime. 10-7 down. I met Dad in the tunnel, sweat-soaked. Fierce. Twist their blitz. "We've got this." His grin wolfish. "That's my blood." Third. Field goal tie. Fourth. Drive of the century, Tom's fake pump. Dad's call on point. 2-yard sneak, champions. Field storm, rings slipped. Tears free. Jumbotron kiss cam. Mom, Dad. Then me, Luca, our dip drawing whoops. Tom with a cheerleader mom. Platonic peck, but his eyes on Dad, soft. After party at the lake. Dawn till done, bonfire roaring. Rings glinted. Stories spun. Dad to Tom, private. "Couldn't without you. Always coach. No more enough." Fall crept, routines resettling. I thrived, exhibit at the collective, Luca's book deal. Visits home. Tailgates, Thanksgivings. Betrayals? Forged to strength. One crisp November post-win, Dad called, "Bench tonight. Old knee." I drove down, found him porch swinging. Mom inside. "Rest easy." He patted the seat. "Yeah." Thinking retiring after this season. Time for new plays. Like, travel with Clara. Maybe coach Little League. Write that memoir. Wink. "You in for edits?" "Always." Sunset bled orange. Words flowed. His youth. The closet's crush. Love's labyrinth. "You changed it all, Alex. That game, your eyes on us. Forced the light." Mutual. Hug lingered. Father-son full circle. As I left, Tom waved from his truck. Heading to Ellen's for custody swap. "Take care, Reeveses." Life's huddle, messy, mighty. Changed? Utterly. For the win. Winter wrapped Savannah in rare hush. Icy tendrils frosting the spires. Holiday lights twinkling defiant against the chill. Luca and I decked our walk-up with thrift store garland and a lopsided tree. Ornaments scavenged from flea markets. A tiny falcon helmet from Mom. A sketch of Tybee waves from my pad. "Our first real Christmas," he said, stringing popcorn. His curls dusted sugar. I kissed him mid-loop, tasting cinnamon. "Yes, ours." Millwood mirrored Mary, but Dad's retirement whisper rippled waves. "Coach Reeves out? End of an era." Booster emails flooded my inbox. Petitions to stay, tribute ideas. He waved them off. 40 seasons enough. Time for Clara's bucket list. Holidays split. Christmas Eve mass in town. Day with Luca's Charleston clan. Oysters and oyster roasts. His abuela's tamales bridging worlds. Homebound Christmas morn. Roads glazed. I arrived to chaos. Wrapping paper blizzard. Mom's ham glazing. Dad in his world's okayest dad apron. Luca's gift from last year, basting with flair. Alex. Late. Traffic. Mom hugged fierce. Flowery. Ice apocalypse. Grin wide. Gifts exchanged. Her knitted scarf for me. Rainbow stripes sly. Dad's leather wallet. Embossed out and proud. Mine for him. Custom playbook. Life lessons diagrammed. The long pass to authenticity. He flipped pages, throat bobbing. Son. Perfect. Tom dropped by mid-morn solo. Gift bag for the girls via mom. Harlan. Congrats on the axe. Little league coach. Those kids won't know what hit him. Dad chuckled. Bring your A game, Ellis. We run a tight ship. Their banter flowed easy post-game pals. Ellen's divorce finalized Thanksgiving. Amicable, co-parenting ironclad. Tom dated casual. A nurse from Statesboro whispers said. No rush, he texted me once. Learning solo first. Brunch stretched lazy. Carols crooned low. Luca FaceTimed in, waving from his feast. Tell Harlan his apron's legendary. Afternoon, we four. Mom. Dad. Me, Tom. Strolled the square's lights. Carolers harmonized. Oh, come all ye faithful. Kids sledding on the hill with cafeteria trays. Dad's arm around mom. Mine swinging free, town eyes glancing. But softer now, acclimated. Retirement party next month. Dad mused. Big send-off. UMC, Alex. Honor. But nerves flickered. Speeches meant stories. Truths aired public. January thawed to mud. Dad's last season kicking off with a win. I caught the opener, new assistant, young buck named Riley, eager but green. Tom shifted to defensive coordinator, his wheelhouse. Synergy clicked. Falcons flew. My world spun too. Collective grant for a queer South graphic series. Hidden plays. Interviews lined. Elders like Dad. Sharing closets cracked. He flew up for the first studio spot under Halo's voice gravelly. That game? Catalyst. Son saw world shifted. Grateful. Clips viral, Millwood moms sharing. Our coach is brave. Grady grumbled on Facebook. Blocked Swift. February's gala loomed. Retirement roast at the VFW. Black tie with a twist. Mullets encouraged. 80s throwback. I prepped my speech in Savannah. Luca timing. Nail the hook. 3 lines, bam. Night arrived crisp. Hall decked in gold jerseys and disco balls. 200 strong. Teamers past and present. Boosters in beyond the lookout ties. Mom radiant in sequins. Dad dapper, mustache waxed. Tom with his date, the nurse. Lila, warm laugh. I took the mic post-dinner, lights hot. 3 hooks for Coach Harlan. First, the roar that scared refs straight. Second, the hug that fixed scraped dreams. Third, what I saw at the game that changed everything. Gasps hushed. Eyes wide. Not the score, Dad. Kissing Tom behind the fence. 40 years married to Mom, but a secret heart beating parallel. Room froze. Mom's hand on Dad's. Steady. It broke me first. Betrayed? Hell yes. But then truth. Dad's not villain. He's human. Gay married. Father layers, loves. That night, fumbled into freedom. For him, Mom, me. Applause built slow, then thunder. Standing O. Dad rose, teary. Alex nailed it. My boy's the real MVP. Hugs on stage. Tom's grip lingered, grateful. Roast followed. Jabs at Dad's questionable calls. His bromance with Tom played for laughs, not barbs. Town laughed along, healing hummed. Post-party, after-party at the lake. Fire pit crackling, stars velvet. Lila chatted Luca. Mom and Dad swayed to phantom tunes. Tom pulled me aside. Your words. Freed something. Thanks. Truth does. We clinked, embers mirroring resolve. Spring bloomed triumphant. Falcons to finals again. Dad's swan song. I road-tripped every away, Luca shotgun. Playlists queer anthems mixed country. Semis in Macon. Nail-biter, OT win. Champs in Columbus. Route, rings raining. Championship dawn. Dad gathered us. Mom, me, Tom, Riley, in the hotel lobby. Last huddle. Whatever the score, we won. Family, field, Forward. Game, masterclass, shutout first half, clock shooing second. Final whistle, 28-0, dad hoisted by boys, tears streaming. Jumbotron tribute, career highlights, family montage me toddler in pads, mom's kiss after titles, Tom's assist cams. Post-game, presser, retiring on top, grateful for the loves. Clara's steady, Tom's fire, Alex's light. Headlines humane, Reeves' legacy, more than yards. Summer settled soft, dad and mom to Yellowstone, geysers and grizzlies. Postcards, Clara's braver than old faithful. I house sat, Luca visiting, our love deepening lazy days. Fall found dad coaching Pee-wee. Tiny Tykes fumbling flags, his patience gold. Tom assisted, Lila cheering sidelines. Visits, barbecues, bonfires. One eve, dad to me, that betrayal? Gift, cracked us open. I nodded, Luca's hand in mine. To more games. Life's field vast. Conflicts conquered, emotions etched, romance rooted. Changed? Eternally. Humanely.